Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Barely 3 days after the unfortunate incident, the Nigerian Senate has resolved to investigate the circumstances which led to the death of 26 Nigerian women at the Mediterranean Sea. The women, some as young as 14, are also suspected to have been sexually abused and murdered before their bodies were brought to the southern Italian port of Salerno by the Spanish ship Cantabria. Italian authorities are investigating the death and have already charged 2 men, one of them an Egyptian and the other a Libyan. The Senate, on its part, has mandated its Committee on Diaspora to commence investigations into the incident. The lawmakers also observed a minute of silence for the deceased girls during plenary on Thursday. A federal high court in Lagos has ordered the temporary forfeiture of the Ikoyi flat where 13 billion naira was found. The house is located at 7B Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos. Anti-graft agency, the EFCC, had found a huge amount inside the flat through a tip-off by a whistleblower in April. The anti-graft agency, during the course of its investigation, traced the ownership of the house to Folashade Oke, wife of the sacked Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayodele Oke. In a document tendered before the court, EFCC said Folashade Oke made cash payments of $1.658 million for the purchase of the flat, where the money was hidden. Still on the anti-corruption war, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has discovered loot totaling 738.9 billion naira between May 2015 and October 2017. Acting chairman of the commission, Ibrahim Magu, said this at the ongoing 7th session of the Conference of the State Parties to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption holding in Vienna. Magu at the convention sought improved coordination and cooperation among state parties in asset recovery. Financial analyst Tilewa Adebajo has said the government must continue spending in order to avoid falling into another recession. In his reaction to the 2018 budget presentation, Adebajo praised the timely presentation of the budget but bemoaned the shortfall in the projected revenue generation. He said the government must borrow to fund the nation's budgets.
The issue or the challenge really has been the revenue shortfall, giving the government the ability to have the funding to be able to spend. And don't forget, we're in a recession. And one of the things that the government has been trying to do is to try to create a stimulus package to be able to spend our way out of a recession by creating the spending and the stimulus to drive the recovery, the economic recovery. And government has found itself unable to raise the required revenues. So basically, we need to finance it. We need to borrow to be able to meet the budget obligations. And the challenges we're having right now is, first of all, to restructure the existing debt, which is to shift most of the domestic debt, which is more expensive, into foreign debts, which is cheaper, and of course raise the additional debt to fund that deficit. So right now in this budget, there's a plan of about 1.6 billion naira to fund the deficit from the debt markets, and another 300 billion will come from privatization proceeds. So it's being able to raise the money and finance the deficit and provide funding to run the budget. That's really the priority and the challenges government is facing.
The Nigerian Senate has resolved to investigate alleged unauthorized spendings by the Ministry of Power Works and Housing. The decision followed the adoption of a motion moved by Senator Dino Melaye at the plenary on Wednesday, which was entitled Monumental Fraud in the Power Sector. Melaye had called for a probe in the sector, claiming the ministry spent over $35 million on the Afam Fast Power project without the approval of the National Assembly in 2016. Following these allegations, the lawmakers ordered its Committee on Power and Public Accounts to invite the minister in charge of the sector, Babatunde Fashola, to render a detailed account on terms of public funds spent on the Fast Power project. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has ordered the Nigerian police to pay 12.5 million naira to the Peace Corps of Nigeria as compensation for the unlawful arrest and detention of its officials. Justice Gabriel Kolawole also ordered the police to unseal the headquarters of the Corps in Abuja. The Peace Corps had dragged the Nigerian police and 5 others to court, accusing them of violating their fundamental human rights. Ruling on the case today, Justice Kolawole held that the defendants, which is the Nigerian police and other security agents, acted outside their statutory power in the sealing of the Peace Corps premises. The ruling comes a day after the police amended its charges against the commandant of the Peace Corps, Dixon Ako. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Armed Forces Council. The council, which comprises of all of the service chiefs, was inaugurated at a meeting in the Aso Villa on Thursday. Minister of Defense Mansur Dan Ali, who made this known in a statement, said the president also ratified the National Defense Policy and harmonized terms and conditions of service officers. The minister said there was the need to convene the council meeting in order to consider matters of great concern to the armed forces. He added that the ratifications would enable the armed forces cope with the ever-changing contemporary security challenges. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has appealed to President Muhammadu Buhari to release leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. El-Zakzaky, alongside his wife Zina, has been in the custody of the DSS since December 2015, following a clash between members of the movement and soldiers. Falana, in a letter to the president, said the continued detention of the couple was in violation of judgment of the Federal High Court, which ordered their release. Meanwhile, the government has maintained the couple is being held for security reasons. Nigeria's electoral body, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has dismissed reports that some materials meant for the 2017 Anambra election are missing. The body was reacting to a report which suggested 2 persons had been arrested in connection with the stealing of materials meant for the state election. However, INEC in a statement said it is not aware of any missing sensitive election material and has not received any official report on that. The Anambra election is scheduled for Saturday, November 18, 2017.
Corruption not in my country.
What is wrong with Kilo man saying no? Said I drew for more than 1 hour.
Ìyá mi, ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ká kúrò fún Ọlọ́run. Ká satisfy yín níbi ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe.
Ẹ wo jẹ́ ká lọ jàre ká kúrò nbí báyìí.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú. Hello ọ̀gá, màá dọ́dọ̀ yín lẹ́sẹ̀ yín. I'm assure you 5 minutes màá dọ́dọ̀ yín ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
You are deceiving another customer just like you deceived us.
The same way he deceived us.
Eh? Why?
Ètò ni iṣẹ́ yìí. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun, ò lè jẹun. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun ìyá mi. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun. Workshop mi lélẹ́yìí, ibi tí èèyàn bá ti ń ṣe ló ti ń jẹ, ìyẹn ló ń pè ní workshop, ibi tó bá ti ń work ní kó má ti shop.
You cannot base your business on lies. Go down now. It is corruption and it cannot work. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Nigeria plans to sell 119.94 billion naira of treasury bills at an auction on November 15. At the auction, the central bank will be offering 32.44 billion naira in 3-month paper, 22.82 billion naira in 6-month bills, and 64.68 billion naira of 1-year notes. Results of the auction will be announced on the same day. The central bank issues treasury bills twice a month to help the government finance its budget deficits, curb money supply growth, and provide an avenue for lenders to manage liquidity. The Central Bank of Nigeria has partnered with Agricultural Commodity Association in the country in its effort to expand implementation of the Anchor Borrowers Program. According to CBN spokesperson Isaac Okorafor, the decision was to consolidate on the gains of the Borrowers Program and reach more farmers nationwide. Okorafor added that the CBN is forming this partnership to further ramp up domestic production of identified commodities by leveraging the existing organized structures of the agricultural associations nationwide. Oil prices rose nearly 1% on Thursday, supported by supply cuts by major exporters, as well as continuing concern about political development in Saudi Arabia. Brent crude was up 59 cents at $64.8 a barrel, while U.S. crude climbed 46 cents at $57.27 a barrel. Prices got a boost earlier this year from a crackdown on corruption by the Saudi Crown Prince, who says he is determined to remodel his conservative country into a modern state, no longer dependent on oil. OPEC will discuss output at a meeting on November 30 and is expected to extend the limits beyond their expiry in March 2018. The Nigerian stock market closed in red on Thursday, losing 0.24% to close at 37,051.54 basis points. The four top gainers for the day are Mobil, International Brewers, Fort Oil and Presco. The losers table had equities of Dangote Cement, Nigeria Brewers, Nascon Allied PLC and Zenith Bank, whose shares declined at 1.99, 0.89, 0.63 and 0.48 respectively. The top traders chart was dominated by the banking sector, with Guaranty Trust Bank, Fidelity Bank, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings and First City Monument Bank leading. Summarizing the market, 175.751 million shares exchanged 3.522 billion naira in 3,357 deals. Moving on to the international scene now, Liberia's main opposition party, the Coalition for Democratic Change, says it respects the decision of the country's Supreme Court to suspend the runoff presidential elections, but is asking that the democratic process should not be truncated. The runoff, which was scheduled for November 7th, was suspended after the third-place candidate in the initial election, Charles Bromskin of the Liberty Party, challenged the polls. The Supreme Court ordered the National Elections Commission to suspend the runoff elections until it attends to Bromskin's complaint. CDC, whose candidate George Weah will contest in the runoff, says it will accept the court's ruling, but warned that Liberia's democracy must be respected.
While respecting the decision of the Supreme Court of the Republic, placing a stay order on the runoff elections, we call on all stakeholders, including the National Elections Commission, to act timely in setting back on course the electoral process and get the runoff election conducted and concluded, reflective of the wishes and aspirations of the Liberian people. We make this call in the interest of the country and for the general good of the people. This is a matter of national urgency needed to avert unanticipated consequences that could attend our failure to do so. The Coalition for Democratic Change and its collaborating political parties will accept nothing less than a timely return to these democratic electoral processes as indicated.
Take a look at the world of sports now. Super Eagles coach Gunnar Rohr has confirmed he will make radical changes to his lineup for the Eagles' final World Cup qualifier against Algeria. The Eagles have booked their place at the 2018 World Cup but must honor their final game against the Desert Foxes. Coach Rohr says he will make at least 6 changes to his first-choice 11 to battle injuries and review performances of fringe players. The match will be played on Friday in Algeria. Super Falcons striker Asisat Oshoala has been named as the best player in Chinese Women's Super League. Oshoala, who joined Dalian Quanjian earlier this year, had a superb season in which he also won the Golden Boot as the top scorer. She scored 12 goals to lead her team to the title. The 22-year-old became the first African player to compete Women's Super League when she signed for Liverpool Ladies in 2015. Lionel Messi has refuted reports he wields too much influence in the Argentina national team. It has been suggested that Messi, who has scored 61 goals in 122 caps, has a hand in influencing the selection of players and coaches for his country's national team. Reacting to this in an interview, Messi said such suggestions betrayed a lack of respect for the senior members of the Argentina team as well as himself. Well, that's all on news now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.